Well, good afternoon, everyone. We had a very robust joint committee discussion with our Planning, Housing, Economic Development Committee and our Education and Culture Committee. So we're a little bit late, so I apologize to those that were anxiously waiting, the millions that are watching at home, but did just want to go ahead and jump into. We have two discussion points for today that are dealing with budgetary transfers. I think that they'll be relatively straightforward. They're unfortunate in what we're seeing as a whole when it comes to construction costs and a signal for us to be prepared as a county, as a council, as a nation, as to the increased construction costs, but ones where certainly where we do and are able to enact cost savings, MCPS has done just that. And so the first one before us, and I want to thank Ms. McGuire and Ms. Rodriguez-Hernandez. Essie, I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into this. We have two decision points. It's a $4 million transfer from Charles Woodward High School reopening project. And so we need to have that is going to help us to be able to ensure that we can take care of some of these other capital projects. And so that's if I'm not mistaken, that's our first one, correct? And then our second one is dealing with the other piece of it. So this is savings from we've got Seneca Valley High School, as well as Tilden Middle School, Rock Terrace School, and Wheaton High School. So all of those construction projects, we've enacted cost savings, and now we're able to move that over and approve that capital budget transfer request going to the local unliquidated surplus project. Is that correct?
It is, and thank you, Mr. Rice. Just very briefly, the packet does address the variety of projects that are before the committees together. And yes, so the projects that you identified that are at closeout or nearing closeout, the school system has recommended to use those funds to address additional unexpended funds in those projects to address additional costs at Woodward. In addition, the size of Woodward is being reduced in order to, again, help mitigate those cost increases. So we do just want to note that there is also an associated change in the scope of the project there as well. Certainly, we appreciate MCPS and the board taking that effort to address the cost increases within their approved funding level. And then the second item is to address an additional set of projects through deferring the recommended project at Dufeef Elementary and reallocating those dollars to keep the other schools again on schedule. If I can just flag one other item, please, thank you. There are sort of an unusual number of variables up in the air at this stage of our work together with the school system and also with our Office of Management and Budget. And we are continuing to work with the state around how to draw down additional Built to Learn dollars because of sort of the real-time effort of working with them. If there are additional changes that are needed to these projects, they may come back before the council. But at this time, the transfers are important in order to just keep those projects on schedule. And again, the school system's request and the board's request would address the construction cost increases and keep them on track, again, unless additional steps are necessary.
And so again, just for those folks that are watching at home, what happened is Rachel Carson and their school in terms of what we saw with Matsunaga and the same thing where it was one of the largest elementary schools in the state. Their cohort of students has actually dropped significantly, and so therefore we can postpone what we were looking to do with Dufeef as a result. And so that $33,941,000 could actually be transferred to Burnt Mills Elementary School project, Clarksburg Cluster Elementary School number 9 project, South Lake Elementary School project, Stonegate Elementary School project, Woodland Elementary School project, and Poolsville High School project. So we've got all of those others that benefit as a result of us seeing less capacity at Rachel Carson and the need for us to move forward immediately with Dufeef. Now, that's not to minimize the fact that I know that our folks with Dufeef are looking forward to having a new school and some new enhancements there. We will certainly look at this in the context of the CIP. And when we have the full CIP before us, we'll certainly consider what we've done to this point. and see what we can do about trying to keep things back on track. But I think, Ms. McGuire, your last point about what it is that we're trying to do and maximize the amount of funds that we can draw down from the Built to Learn Act is incredibly important. I really want to thank you, Mr. Adams, Ms. Karamias, OMB, all working together, OMB and MCPS all working together with council to make sure that we can try and align these numbers correctly. So colleagues, that's what's before us. We have those two transfers, and I'm just going to open it up for anybody if my colleagues have any comments or questions. Seeing Councilmember Jawanda.
Very briefly, I know we're not going to stay long. I just want to put a marker down, Mr. McGuire, and for the school system. Obviously, I appreciate all the hard work. We're going to have to do it. We understand why, but just looking forward, as you know, to the full CIP and just everything that's coming, we're going to have some serious, I know, Mr. Chair, conversations about how do we just factor this in to what we're doing, and and that's going to have to include revenue. So just want to flag that, and but really appreciate the work of staff on this. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Councilmember Jawanda, that's actually a very excellent point, and one in which we had this conversation towards the end of last year. I think was the first time we had the recordation tax conversation, and then we had it at the beginning for budget as well. And it's something in which I think when we see the needs that are going to be passed with regards to the school board and its budget request for CIP, coupled with some of the other things that the county executive recommends, it's going to be the appropriate time for us to certainly have this conversation around how we're going to maximize revenue in addition to drawing down state support to be able to support our CIP and keep these projects on track. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think that we are right on the cusp of really making some concrete decisions about what it is that we're going to need to do to support these projects moving forward. And so I look forward to that discussion here in ENC as well as in the full council. Councilmember Navarro.
Yeah, since this is a GO item, recordation tax, I guess I'll chime in and say that Gene Smith has already started to work. Our staff has worked on, doing their due diligence and getting information that obviously they didn't have when all of this was being discussed in the context of our growth and infrastructure policy. But you're absolutely right. We will be taking all of this into consideration in the whole, context of the full CIP. This is not new, as we all know. Every year, basically, we have to take a look at puts and takes and things that might shift. I think the pandemic has made it a little bit more, I would say, unpredictable in some ways. But yeah, we're gonna examine everything, consider what's going to come from the state, consider what it is that we need. It's important also to note that the council wanted to have a much more complete picture before just rushing to make recommendations regarding recordation tax or any other tax as well, because this is not something that we can do in a vacuum. It has to be done within the context of the totality of what we're dealing with. But no doubt we will be taking all of that into consideration for sure.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to stability, we're starting to see things start to stabilize a little bit more, which gives us, and we've got more information, Ms. McGuire, Ms. Karamias, Mr. Adams, from the state in terms of how they're going to be responding to a number of these projects, which allows us to then go through and adjust a lot of these projects based on what we're seeing as far as their coverage will be for matching some of those funds. So I know that some of that is underway, some of it's still out there for discussion. So I think in the next coming months, we'll be able to really hone in on what that might look like, both from a landscape environment, as you talked about, Councilmember Navarro, Chair of GO, and from a perspective in terms of reimbursability or coverage regarding Built to Learn Act dollars and regarding the capacity within our current CIP and our spending affordability guidelines as well. So all of that, more to come. It's going to be exciting, but but thank you, Councilmember Jawanda, for flagging that, because it is important for us as a part of that greater context discussion that we're going to be having very, very soon. So with that, If there's no objection to the transfers and the recommendations of staff to do both categorical transfers, then that is unanimous, and we are all set. I want to thank you, Ms. McGuire and Ms. Rodriguez-Hernandez, for all of your great work as always, and I want to thank my colleagues for all of their great work as well. It's been a long afternoon, but one that's very productive, so just want to thank both of you for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Take care.